Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Hi everyone, welcome to Jeremy Hadler's Phillies Sports World. I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler, and today I'm going to be talking about my MLB Standing Predictions for the 2024 season. And the way I'm going to be doing my Standing Predictions is starting from AL West and then going to the Central East from the AL side and then head over to the NL side from the West, Central, East to round it out there. So we'll be doing that. Before I start, make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Please do so. We appreciate it. And yes, this is a baseball. So I just mentioned about the standing predictions. I will be giving my postseason predictions too of World Series, all that at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that real quick. Let's head over to the AL West. There are going to be good teams and bad teams. And I think we all know who's going to be heading dead last in this division. And that is the Oakland Athletics, which will be moving soon to Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. But the Athletics have tanked for so many years. They have not been great. There's not much to them. Every time they get a great prospect or somebody good, they trade away right at the bat like boom. It's just not great. Every time they have talent and they could be good, they always mess up and try to trade away. They try to get assets here and there, but those assets have not worked out for the Athletics. They have not. At this point, they're trying to be like Major League and get the new stadium at this point. So Athletics fans, good luck. You're going to need it. Fourth place in the AL West I got is the Los Angeles Angels. The Los Angeles Angels lost their best player, Shohei Ohtani. They still have Mike Trout. They still have Anthony Rendon, or he has not been the same guy he was when he was with the Washington Nationals when he won the World Series. Pitching, I mean, it's still not that great either. They just got to improve a bunch of areas. They got to improve the hitting, the bullpen, the starting rotation, all three. I don't think this team's going to be great at all because when you had Ohtani and Trout, Ohtani could pitch and hit for you, and that still did not bring the Astros to the next level or make them even to the postseason contention. And the Angels haven't made the postseason in a long time. And Mike Trout has been to the postseason one time in his career. One time. And that is rare, folks. So I got the Angels here at fourth, but they need to fix around. You can't win with one star. And that's been the case for the Angels. They've tried with Pujols, Trout, Rendon, Ohtani. Hasn't worked out. They got to figure something out here, folks. But I got the Angels here in fourth place. In third place, I'm going to take this young, bright team. And I thought this team was going to make it to the World Series last year, go very far. Fortunately, that didn't happen. They lost very shortly in the postseason. They didn't go very far, which was once again disappointing to see from them. I got is the Seattle Mariners, folks, the young, bright team, because they're still young. They did add Polanco and Gardner to give power and offense, which I still like a lot. They don't have Teoscar Hernandez, which is a bit of a shame there. I still like their offense. The offense is still good. They have a great outfield. I really like them. They have some good pieces in the infield. Their star rotation has been getting better. It's getting up there. I just like the Mariners still. I still think they can keep their low money ball. They're like a money ball team, low budgeting team. Don't like to spend a lot. They will spend once in a while too. I mean, they did try with Robbie Ray. Still trying to figure that out. But I still think the Mariners can make it a battle for the postseason at least. Division-wise, I don't think so, given the next two teams. But I think the Mariners can still fight for a playoff position. I still think they can. So I'm going to have the Mariners here at third place. It was a shame that they didn't go farther where they were last year. They just barely squeaked in the postseason. Hopefully they can turn that around. But I got the Mariners here at third place. Heading in second place, ladies and gentlemen, in the AL West is I got the world champions, the Texas Rangers. And you're thinking right away, you're crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about. Well, the Rangers didn't even finish in first place. They didn't even win the division. They came in second place last year. Congrats to them. Congrats to everyone at that organization, fans all around it. They did an incredible job. I really like them aggressiveness in the trade deadline, the postseason. They were so fantastic to watch. They just offensively were killing it. They remind me a lot of the Phillies. Pitching was so good. They didn't even need DeGrom, Scherzer. They didn't even need any of those guys really. They got hurt right off the bat. And the funny thing about that is those are former Mets pitchers, and they didn't win a World Series with the Mets, but they won a World Series with Rangers, and they still getting paid by the Mets. How crazy is that if you're a Mets fan? Bruce Bochy, I give props to that man. He comes into the Rangers, which he came out of retirement. No one thought he would do well, and he helped deliver the World Series to the Rangers. He's one of the greatest managers of all time with that Giants dynasty. He is a fantastic manager, and the Rangers, they deserve every bit of it. They cherish the crown. The Rangers won their first World Series ever, which is amazing. So, again, congrats to them. Off-season-wise, Scherzer, he won't be ready until mid-season, so that's a concern there. DeGrom is out till September. Seager is having a hernia surgery, so he's going to be out a little bit. Not too much, like I mentioned with the other guys. They did lose their big star, Jordan Montgomery, who doing very well for the Rangers because their rotation, again, they're being very aggressive, trying to get it. But Jordan Montgomery saved the Rangers a lot and helped deliver them the World Series. I'm just going to put on lower here. In first place, let's end it here short. The Houston Trash Cans. Yeah. I'm still going to call them that because there's cheating trash cans out there. The only thing that this empire added, because they won the World Series, their trash can season, and 2 years ago against the Phillies. Yeah, still not happy about that. What did this empire do, is I like to call it, because everyone hates them, and I call them the Emperor and the Empire from Star Wars because everyone hates them. So this Astros team added Josh Hader, who's an amazing pitcher, one of the best closers in MLB. He's going to be a significant boost for this bullpen. I mean, the bullpen was already good for the Astros, but they did lose some key guys like Hector Neris. But Josh Hader, he's going to be a closer, and he's going to be making this team super, super good. And I think that's going to play a key factor and win this division. So I got the Astros here winning first place, and I don't want the Astros to win at all. I just don't. I hate this team. You cheated. You beat my team. So I want revenge. I want revenge on this team. But I got the Houston Astros finishing in first place here, folks, of the AL West. Now to the AL Central, ladies and gentlemen. In fifth place, this team is a hot mess, and that is the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox have nothing good. They got rid of Jose Abreu. They got rid of Tim Anderson. All their great pitchers, like Lucas Giolito, he's gone. They just traded Dylan Cease to the San Diego Padres. Like, this team has nothing. They had Tony La Russa as their manager. That clearly did not work out well. He was great with the Cardinals, but with the White Sox, terrible. He did nothing great with the White Sox. Now they have a new manager. Their roster, what is it? It's nothing. They really have nothing to work with. They really got to figure something out because Tim Anderson, he was fantastic and a great shortstop, and then he just didn't pan out. And that's the same for most of these pitchers for the White Sox. Some of them just didn't pan out and you had to go through surgery, just left. They had to be traded like Dylan Cease. Just a whole mess. And this White Sox team, it's not great. I got them here in fifth. In fourth place, I kind of like this team a little bit, but I'm going to put them in fourth place just because I think a couple other teams are going to be better than them. But I do like what this team did, and that is the Kansas City Royals. The Kansas City Royals, they have not been fantastic since they won the World Series since 2015. They have lost their key guys over the years, like Whit Merrifield, Alex Gordon, Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer. This team has not been the same since then. It just hasn't. The great thing about this Royals team, what they have right now, is Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt got the huge extension for 13 years, mega extension deal. We got a mega extension deal, and that is great for the Royals because that is your prime guy who's going to pan out, and he's so underrated. I love this kid watching him. So I think that's a great move for the Royals to get done. They also got Kyle Wright, Will Smith, and I really like Will Smith. He's a great relief pitcher, so that boosts your bullpen a bit. Kyle Wright, he can be good there if he's healthy. Hunter Renfroe, another good solid hitter here and there. I just think this team made some good moves in this offseason. I think it just boosts them just a little bit. I still have to value it because there's still many holes on this team. There's still many. Even with all the moves I just mentioned, the bullpen went up a bit. Hitting is still an issue with me. They still got to improve the hitting. Some rotation, they're missing some key guys. I just need to see more out of this team. So for right now, I'm just going to put them here in fourth place because I think they're still a very young team. They're rebuilding. I think they're going to get it going in the next year or two. I think that's where they are for the Royals. Third place. I thought this team was going to do pretty well last year. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and that is the Cleveland Guardians. Good things about the Guardians. They re-signed McKenzie and Bieber. That's the good thing. Now the bad thing. The hitting is not where it is with them. They don't have fantastic hitting. Now, they do have Jose Ramirez, who I like a lot. The bullpen is good still. I still think it's good. The hitting is something that it's lacking, though. It's very lacking. They can't score enough runs. I mean, they were in the postseason not that long ago, but they need to improve the hitting a lot. Francisco Lindor, he's been gone for a while. They need to find some other key guys that can boost in this lineup. This is what they need. Just get a bit more hitting. I think this team could easily win the division because this division, in my opinion, is the most wide open. Anyone could win it. But I don't think the other two teams are because they're just not starting yet. Guardians, they could. If they can fix that hitting and get it right off the bat, they're going to be rolling here. So I think the Guardians are third place for right now. But the hitting is the biggest improvement I need to see from them. Second place, that is the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, the Detroit Tigers, who I think they made some solid moves. I really think they did. They have a lot of young prospects coming up, and I think some of them are going to pan out. They added Mandia, Flaherty. Those are two great signings for starting rotation. They did lose Rodriguez, which I think Rodriguez was great. However, he was a bit inconsistent and his ERA was very high. So I think that's a great move for them. But I really think this Tigers team, they're right there. They're about to build up and they're about to take off. The hitting, starting rotation, the bullpen, they just need to get it all together. Like they're kind of forming a bit. They're kind of forming, like I mentioned with the Royals. I think they have high potential, so I'm going to put them here. Then to take the crown in the AL Central is the Minnesota Twins. I'm going to have them repeating despite losing Sonny Gray, Kenta Madeo, Tyler Mayo, Pagan, Polanco, and some other players. Now that's going to hurt, which could easily take them out. However, I think they're the strongest team out of all of these other teams here in the Central. I think it's going to be tough a little bit, but I think the Twins can still pull it out because I love their hitting. They can upset teams. They made it to the postseason and got their first postseason series win in a long time, which was fantastic to see that. So I think the Twins can still pull it around. They just need to replace Polanco, fix the starting rotation because you did lose one of your key guys. I think the Twins can repeat as champions and maybe go far this year. But I got the Twins here. And then to round out in the AL is the AL East, the toughest division in baseball. Literally is, except the last team. All the other teams are very good. Boston Red Sox. They have not been great for a bit since 2021. But in that time, the GM and the president had made some interesting moves that most fans don't understand. They traded Bogarts away. They traded Mookie Betts during COVID season. They re-signed Rafael Devers last year, which was pretty good. And the Red Sox did add Tyler O'Neill, who I like. They did lose Verdugo, who driven a lot of runs, and I saw that. But the nice thing is with the Red Sox is they have Devers and Yoshida. That's the good thing. Bad news for the Red Sox, though, is they don't have great pitching. Obviously, they got Lucas Giolito, but he's hurt right now. He's going to be shut down for a bit because I believe of UCL injury, which isn't completely terrible, but knowing what happened with Bryce Harper, that could take a little bit and could take almost maybe for about 2 months in the season here and there. So I don't think the Red Sox are ready to compete at all yet. I think they got to build because they're trying to be in the win now mode. But what they need to realize is they're in a rebuild mode because they're in a tough division. They can't compete with the other teams in this division and make a chance to World Series. They got to rebuild, and Devers and Yoshida are two of the main guys that they have there. But they need to fix the starting rotation and a couple more guys in hitting. But the starting rotation needs to be a big thing for this Red Sox team. Fourth place, that is the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays have choked the past couple of years in the postseason. That has been the shame for the Toronto Blue Jays. They have looked so good and have high potential and have been close to winning the division, the AL East, so many times and going far. However, they can't get the job done. I compare the Blue Jays personally to the Buffalo Bills, their next door neighbor, who can never get over the hump. The Blue Jays, they added Justin Turner, who I think was good. He had a good season with the Red Sox. So that was nice to add piece. But will the Blue Jays get over the hump? That is the question. They have so much caliber talent and can get it all done. But can they get it done? I don't think they can. This has been the struggle with the Blue Jays. I don't know, because what it's looked like, they should be able to take care of business on paper. But in reality, they cannot. So that is why I'm putting them here in fourth place. Third place, I got us the Tampa Bay Rays. You never know what's going to happen with the Tampa Bay Rays because they're the Moneyball team. They always use the analytics so much. They have great hitting. They did lose one of their key guys due to a off-field issue who is probably never going to be coming back to the Rays ever again and play baseball. But the Rays, they always surprise people. They will show that they can get it done. They will show it. However, they did lose a key guy, Glasnow. They let him go, which he was one of their key guys. But the problem with the Rays right now is their pitching. Now, their pitching is great. Great on paper. They got Zach Eflin, a couple other guys. However, a bunch of the guys are hurt, like Jeffrey Springs, Shane McClain, Drew Malmusen. And that is a big issue with the Rays. That's a big issue. If you get these guys healthy and get them back, then I think the Rays can compete in this division easily. However, this is going to set them apart a bit, in my opinion. So I'm going to put the Rays here in third place, and they always like to surprise people. In second place, I got is the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles overachieved their expectations. They overachieved them, got over 100 wins, got the win division last year. They got in the first round of the postseason, lost to the champions, the Rangers. But the Orioles had a successful year. They had a successful year with the young prospects they had. Hitting was very good. It was very good. Bullpen also was pretty good. The pitching was annoying to watch. It was annoying to pitch. I'm sorry, Orioles fans, but the start rotation, you need some starters. I mean, you got Corbin Burns. That was a great trade. They also have Young, who's good too. The one main thing for the Orioles right now is the number one prospect is supposed to come up very soon and start for the Orioles in middle of the season. He's a good hitter. He just needs to pan out. Holiday just needs to pan out. One bad news, though, for the Orioles is Kyle Bradish has a UCL sprain, so he's going to be out, and that's going to hurt him a little bit. But I think this Orioles team is still great. They could easily win this division. I think they can make a chance at the World Series. I really can. It really comes down to the starting pitching, the young prospects you got on this team. The hitting is still fantastic. So is the bullpen. It comes down to the young prospects and the starting rotation. If they can pan out and get the job done, then I think this Orioles team is going to do fantastic. I think they can. But for right now, I'm going to put him here in second place just because of those concerns for me. To round out first place, take the crown home in the AL East is the New York Yankees. Yeah, I said it was the New York Yankees. I said it. However, the Yankees did make a bunch of offseason moves. One big one was getting Juan Soto from the Padres. That was a big one. That definitely boosted their chances to the World Series, win the division, going far in the AL. That definitely boosted chances. Two other big moves I liked was Verdugo from the Boston Red Sox. Again, can drive and runs, good outfield, good utility guy out there, good defense. Another key guy I liked was Marcus Stroman from the Chicago Cubs. I thought he was pretty good. He gives them a left-handed pitcher side. The big issues with him, bullpen is still good. They need to add a couple more guys because they did lose their key guy to the Padres in that Juan Soto trade. So they need to get that going right away. Hitting, it's inconsistent. Now, Judge, fantastic guy. Stanton, inconsistent. Juan Soto, not inconsistent. It's really just a bunch of these guys of like, can the hitting finally get it done? And that was one of the big things with the Yankees because last year when they were healthy, Aaron Judge was carrying the Yankees so much because they kind of lived off home run and strikeouts. That's what they kind of lived off of. They have got to improve. You just need to see consistency out of this Yankees offense. You just need consistency. And then another key issue I have is the starting rotation. Starting rotation is a bit of an issue to me for so many years, but the starters were not great. You signed Carlos Rodon last year. That did not work out so far. He did not have a great year with that. So hopefully he bounces back. You got Nestor Cortez, who I think is pretty good. Garrett Cole, he's going to be out a month or two. It would look like he was going to get Tommy John for a minute, but he's not. So that's great news for Yankee fans. Can they just be consistent and be healthy? That's really all you can ask for the Yankees because they make the moves. They're being very aggressive, trying to win the World Series because they did not even go to a World Series in the last decade, which is rare because they've been to a World Series and won a World Series every decade almost, and it's insane. Last decade, they didn't even make it to a World Series, which is a shocker. Hopefully, us MLB fans can enjoy that, and it doesn't happen for this decade, hopefully. But I got the Yankees winning the division. Now I'm going to head over to the NL West, then the NL Central, and then the NL East, and then I'm going to be giving my playoff predictions right after that, folks, of who I think is going to win the World Series. I'm not going to do key matchups here and there of like first round, second round, third round of the postseason. I'm just going to give my predictions here and there. But let's go back to NL West here, folks. Fifth place, I got the Colorado Rockies. Colorado Rockies, they got nothing. They got Chris Bryant, but he hasn't been the same since he came from the Giants. Not been the same. He signed a huge deal. Rockies, they got to rebuild a bit. They got to get young prospects. So I'm going to have them there. Fourth place, I got is the San Francisco Giants. San Francisco Giants. The big thing with the Giants is every offseason they're trying to get the big free agent. They're trying to get Ohtani. They're trying to get Arson Judge, if MLB fans remember that. Trying to get those guys of being great. They don't because they get the second-tier guys, the third-tier guys, and it's just not great. It's not great for the Giants. And big things with the Giants is their hitting is not that great. They did lose some key guys. Some rotation, they lost one of their main guys, which hurts them a bit. They did get a new manager, Bob Melvin, who was the Padres manager, which I think is a little bit better than Gabe Kapler because Gabe Kapler was not great. I mean, he surprisingly had the Giants make the postseason and had a winning record. Shocking, but still think the Giants got a better manager out of that. Again, the hitting is not great. The starting rotation is not great. Bullpen is It's not that fantastic. So there's a bunch of things that they got to improve upon, and most of their players have been getting old, so it's not great to see with the Giants. They got to get younger. I'm going to put him here in fourth place. Third place. This team has gone bananas because they were World Series contenders not that long ago, and now they're just like stuck in the middle of the river, and that is the San Diego Padres. San Diego Padres, already mentioned, traded Juan Soto. They did get good bullpen depth. They just traded for Dylan Cease, so that was pretty good, another starter. And the Padres starting rotation is getting better. It really is. I mean, they do have Blake Snell right now because Blake Snell's a free agent technically, but he's getting signed with somebody. So that was the replacement for Blake Snell. I like that. I like Cease a bit more than Blake Snell personally because of Cy Young winners. They usually don't do well, surprisingly, the next year after they win it. I don't know why, but that's been the case for like the last few years. So I think the Padres, pitching wise, is pretty good. Bullpen is getting a bit better. Hitting, that's a concern because you just lost Soto, and they got to get other key guys in there. Like they lost Austin Nola. So the hitting is a big concern to me. So I'm not going to put the Padres up there with the other teams in this division per se, but hitting has got to improve a lot. So until the hitting improves, I'm going to leave the Padres right here at third place. Second place I got is the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Arizona Diamondbacks. As a Phillies fan, I hate it because they were so good. They were very young. They pulled off a Phillies wild card run to the World Series. So I congrats to them. But the Diamondbacks did not get the job done. They lost to the Rangers in the World Series. They were no match for the Rangers in the World Series. But this offseason, they did make a lot of moves. They got Eugenio Suarez, Jock Henderson, Gurrick, Rodriguez. They got a bunch of key guys that I think this Diamondbacks team can make it to the playoffs very easily. They can even make it past a couple rounds in the postseason. I think they can go a little bit far. But I'm not going to put them in first place because I'm going to put the big team in first place. But I think this Diamondbacks still very young. They're making some key news. And I think they're World Series contenders. I really think they are. And I think this is a great ball club that they're in right now. But the main problem I have with it, but the only problem I have with them is, can they repeat that success again? That's really the only thing. Like the Orioles, they were young, they overachieved. Diamondbacks, they're young, they overachieved a bit. Can they repeat the success? That's my question for the Diamondbacks. For right now, I'm going to put the Diamondbacks here in second place. Really bright future for this team, really bright future. And then take the crown in the NL West. I think everyone knows who are like World Series contenders and most likely going to win it, is the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers made a splash this offseason with getting the best player in baseball, Shohei Ohtani. Then they also got the Japanese pitcher, Yashi Yamamoto. He is also a fantastic pitcher. This Dodgers team on paper looks like one of the best teams of all time. It just does. But the problem with the Dodgers is they cannot win in the postseason. They cannot win. And that has been the struggle for so many years. I mean, they won the World Series in COVID season, but a couple people say it's a Mickey Mouse trophy. I'm not going to argue here and there about that. But besides that, if you look at the last 30 years of the Dodgers, postseason is their weakness. They cannot win series, and they blow it in the playoffs. They blow it. The Dodgers, they just can't get the job done. But I think the Dodgers are going to be a lot better, especially with Ohtani and Yamamoto, because start rotation was a big weakness for this Dodgers team. They got two key guys, so I think that's a great spot for the Dodgers. So they fit right in the picture. Their bullpen, I mean, it still needs a little bit more juice in there. They need to get a little bit better. But besides that, I think the Dodgers are still fantastic. I think they're World Series favorites easily. Just the question again is, though, can they win the postseason? Can they win the World Series? Because that has been the struggle for them. But we'll see, because they just spent over $1 billion with that Ohtani contract, which is insane. One of the highest sports contracts ever in Yamamoto. With those two signings, that is worth more than the Miami Marlins franchise is worth. That is insane. Two players from this offseason that Dodgers signed is worth more than the Miami Marlins franchise. That's insane. But I got the Dodgers winning the division here in the NL West. All right, heading to the NL Central. Fifth place I got is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, I'm going to put the Pittsburgh Pirates here because they got great draft pick with Skeens. But if you look at the team right now, where they're at, they really have nothing. They have young prospects, and this is a rebuilding team. They're not quite there for playoffs and World Series contention. They need to rebuild. They need to get it going, like start it up again, because that's where the Pirates are, because they're just rebuilding, and they're not looking to get 10 for the next couple of years. So rebuilding is where I'm looking at Pittsburgh Pirates right now. Fourth place I got is the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds have young talent. They got Cruz, who I like a lot, and is their best hitter on that team, and very good speed. They did also Frankie Montas, who was all right, wasn't fantastic with the Yankees. I think the Reds are in the same cushion as the Pirates, but I think they're slightly better because you're seeing more young talent on this Major League roster team, whereas the Pirates have more younger talent in the minor league. That's the only difference. So I'm going to put the Reds here because they're both in rebuild mode. And then heading to third place, I hate to put this team here because I like watching this team a bit, and that's Milwaukee Brewers. I'm sorry, Brewer fans, but I have to put them here. You lost your best pitcher, Corbin Burns, in my opinion. Once the Orioles, your hitters, some of them are not the key guys that they once were, like Christian Yelich, like when he won MVP here in Milwaukee. Where has he been the last couple of years? He has not done well. Lorenzo Cain, you had him very good the past couple years. Then you cut him. It's just the Brewers need to get consistent of offense. Their bullpen is one of the best. They have one of the best closers in the game. So I give them props to that. Hitting needs to improve because they need a lot of guys there. Pitching, you need to replace Corbin Burns. You need to. And you need a couple other spots here and there in this rotation. But really hitting is what I need to see. If you can get Christian Yelich to perform like an MVP, then you might have a shot at making the postseason. The offense is my big concern for this Brewers team. Even though they won the division last year, which I give them credit for, they're going to take a step back because of this Corbin Burns move. Second place in the NL Central I got is the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals have made a bunch of moves offseason that I like a bit. They got Sonny Gray from the Minnesota Twins, who was one of the best pitchers last year. So that's fantastic. They traded Tyler O'Neill, and I think the Cardinals are just slightly above the Brewers, but I could easily see them win the division just because I don't know what I'm going to see out of this hitting. Because you have Nolan Arenado, you got Paul Goldschmidt. Those are two great players, but you need more guys, and you also need them, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, to also produce more. You need more production from those guys because those are the two guys you really want to, because those are former MVPs. So you need more out of that, and you just need more hitting. Get consistent hitting. If you can get consistent hitting, driving 2-3 runs with those pitchers, you should be able to win more ball games. So it wouldn't be surprising to see them win the division here. For me personally, I have to put them here because I think they're slightly above the Brewers. And so to round out in the NL Central, taking the crown is the Chicago Cubs in first place. Yes, I said the Chicago Cubs. They were a sleeper team last year. They got a new manager, Craig Counsell, who I think is good. They got him from the Brewers, which another reason why I forgot to mention about the Brewers is why I think they're going to slightly decline with a new manager. I think Craig Counsell, he was the guy for the Brewers and was fantastic with them. I like Craig Counsell a lot as a manager. I think he's going to boost the Cubs a lot. They did re-sign Bellinger. They did lose Marcus Stroman, so you got a little concern there. You got to fix the pitching a bit. Hitting-wise, I mean, they still have some key guys here and there. Bullpen-wise, I mean, it's all right. It's not that great here and there, but really what I'm looking at with Bellinger, that saves your hitting a bit. So what I really need kind of with Cubs right now is the pitching. If they can improve their pitching, then I think the Cubs could easily win this division more. But they have some great talent on this team, so I think they could easily win this division. But I also think, like the AL Central, it's also wide open too. Produce more. I just need to see like the young talent and like how they were sleeper last year and almost made the postseason last year come to real life. I need to see that. To round out to our last division before I get to my postseason World Series predictions is the NL East. NL East, my division. Yeah, my division. Fifth place. Let's get this out of the way. That's the Nationals. Nationals rebuilding, not great right now. They do have young talent. I will give credit. They have some young talent. They've had concern of injuries, like Strasburg has not been the same since they won the World Series because he gets hurt every single year, and it's painful to see that as an MLB fan because he's one of the best. And when you watch them, but the Nationals, they've not been the same since they won the World Series. Most of their guys from the World Series have left and just not been great, like Juan Soto. They got rid of him a couple years ago, which was crazy to see that. But I think the Nationals, they're rebuilding mode, so I'm going to put them here in fifth place. Fourth place, I got the Miami Marlins. I don't think the Miami Marlins are going to be making the postseason like they did last year. I just don't see it. With their best starting pitcher is out for the season, Alcantara, not great to see that. They did have Tim Anderson, who I liked. They did lose Joey Wendell. The Miami Marlins, I mean, they're just an interesting team because when you look at them, the hitting wise, I mean, you don't expect that out of them. You just don't expect that out of some of the key guys. I mean, Jazz, I like a lot, and that is one of their best hitters. But besides that, I mean, they have like Berger. There's some key guys you could say they're good and above average, but all in all, like the Marlins don't have a great team. I just don't see them producing it again. I really don't, especially the hitting too. I mean, the starting rotation, it was good with Alcantara. They have good bullpen and starting rotation. I like a bit. They do need to add one more bullpen guy, but hitting is the main concern. I just don't see the way that the Marlins came from last year into heading in this upcoming season. I just don't see with some of the guys that they lost, like Segura, Joey Wendell, as I mentioned before, and some other guys. Just don't see them. I just don't see. I'm going to put them here at fourth place for now. Third place, New York Mets. The New York Mets, they're one of the teams I hate the most in baseball. One of the teams I hate the most. Fun thing, as I mentioned before, about the Rangers. Let's just mention also the Houston Astros. Last offseason, the Mets got Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. That lasted not even the full season, and they were supposed to be the next great duo and dominate the NL East and the NL of pitching starting rotation. That did not work out because both of those guys got traded. Verlander went back to Houston, and Scherzer went to Texas Rangers to win a World Series. Oh, let's not forget, Jacob deGrom was there the year prior, and he also left the Mets to go to the Rangers and win a World Series. The funny thing, though, is they won a World Series, and they were promised a World Series by the owner of the Mets, Steve Cohen, and that didn't happen for the Mets. It happened for the Rangers. So, yeah, that happened there. But the Mets, I mean, they got new manager because Buck Showalter is not the guy. He's been managing, but I think he was a bit out of his league from where MLB is now today. And so they got Carlos Beltran, the former baseball player who I remember watching him growing up. He was pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see what he does for the Mets. But the Mets have Seneca, who I think is pretty good for the Mets. They did lose some other key guys like Pete Alonso. And the Mets have some other key guys here and there, like Francisco Lindor, who I like a lot. The hitting for the Mets needs to improve just a little bit. The star rotation, I just don't understand because, again, you trade Scherzer, trade Verlander, that didn't work out. You got Seneca, but where's the rest of the star rotation? You need to improve that a bit. Bullpen, you got one of the best closers in the game. Fortunately, he got hurt last year and he was out for the year. Highest paid closer in MLB right now, but the rest of the bullpen for the Mets is not that great, and they need to improve that. So mostly the pitching is what I'm looking at for the Mets. You can improve the pitching, really start rotation, then you have a shot. So I'm going to put the Mets here in third place because they don't have great start rotation. Until you prove that, Mets, you're in third place right now. Second place, I'm going to be fair. Got to go with my Philadelphia Phillies. Got to go with my team here. Don't think we're going to win the division because the Braves have won it for the last couple of years, and it's always annoying me, and I hate them. But we always get revenge in the postseason, and we've beaten them the past 2 years. So that's the bright side for the Phillies. Off-season moves that the Phillies made, and I already made a video about this to go more in depth. But the key things with the Phillies that they signed was re-signed Aaron Nola and re-signed Zach Wheeler. So they got the duo right there to keep that star rotation alive for many years. That's pretty good, and I really love that. So they pretty much got the same core coming again into the season. You got the bullpen, still good in my opinion. They got the star rotation, just mentioned, pretty good. Hitting, best part of the team. The thing with the Phillies is the runs. The runs, and I mentioned this in my Phillies upcoming season video about them. The runs are my main concern with them because they were 1 for 10 in Game 7 of that series against Diamondbacks. This team can do very good. There were slumps, and some guys had to pick up the slump here and there, like Jason Muto. But I really think this Phillies team can definitely go back. They're hungry. They're trying to win the World Series. They made it to the World Series 2 years ago. Fell short in the NLCS last year against Diamondbacks. I really think this team can come back and go far and maybe win the World Series this year. I think they can. But again, Phillies have got to be consistent and get the job done. That's really the thing about the Phillies. Can you get the job done? That's really the question with them. Because I still think this team can compete and do well. But really the question is, though, can they get the job done? And can this offense be consistent and score runs? That's what I need to see from the Phillies. And then to round out, taking the crown in the NL East first place is the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, Atlanta Braves have won it for the past couple of years, but they don't go far in the postseason because of my team. We've beaten you the past 2 years, so thank you for that. I mean, they did win the World Series 3 years ago, so I'll give props to them on that. But they always win the division. They always have. Somehow find a way to still compete. I mean, they replaced Freddie Freeman with Matt Olson. That somehow did good for them. They replaced some pitchers here and there. They got rid of Kyle Wright. They did lose Will Smith, who I think was a big piece in that bullpen. They got Chris Sale, which they're hoping Chris Sale can return to form like he did when he was super good with the White Sox and with the Red Sox early in his career, but hasn't been the same since because of so many injuries. But this Braves team is still pretty good. The bullpen, pretty good. Offense is awesome to watch. The star rotation, they got so many good pitchers. Spencer Strider, but probably my favorite of watching, but I hate facing the guy because he's so good. But somehow my team can pull through it and beat him. He's so good, and he's a future Cy Young winner. So the Braves got a great pitcher out of him, but can they get the job done, and can they go far in the postseason? That's really the thing with them. But the star rotation towards the end is a little bit of a concern to me, too, with the Braves. That's a little bit concerning just because of the Chris Sale thing. Can they get the job done, and can they fix the back end of the star rotation for the Braves? That's really my. Now let me head into who's going to make the playoffs, who's not, and who's going to be my World Series prediction of who's winning it all. So right away, I already mentioned who's winning the divisions. Teams I think they're going to make the postseason, so I'll start with from the NL side. I got the Phillies making it to the postseason. The Diamondbacks, I think, making the postseason. And then to finish it out, I got Cardinals. I think that was said and done, so I got that right. The NL side, where you got the Braves, Cubs, Dodgers, Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Cardinals. That's there for that. Then heading over to the AL side, I mentioned the Yankees, Twins, and Astros. I got the Rangers making it, Orioles making it in. Then to finish that last spot, that's tough because to me it's coming down to the Moneyball teams. I'm going to pick the Seattle Mariners. I'm going to pick a rebound season for them, so I think they'll make the postseason just slightly above the Rays because of that pitching is the only reason why that I have the Mariners make is because the injury concerns for that Rays team. That's a big concern to me. So I got the Mariners there. Then to win the World Series, I want to put my Phillies so badly up there. But I feel like if I put my Phillies up there, I'm going to jinx them. So to not jinx the Phillies, I'm going to put the Dodgers here because most people think the Dodgers are going to win it all. So I'm going to put the Dodgers here representing NL. Then for AL, I'm going to put the Houston Astros because the Houston Astros find a way to get in. They are like the Kansas City Chiefs. They are like them. They always find a way to make in the big show and take the crown. That's them. So I got Dodgers, Astros. I'm going to pick the Dodgers here because the Dodgers have been World Series favorites. I think the Dodgers, given what they have on paper, should be able to win World Series and more World Series. So I got the Dodgers being the Astros. That's my World Series pick, folks. But let me know, folks, what you think. Who's going to win the divisions in each division here? Who's going to make the playoffs? Who's going to win the World Series? Let me know. That is the end of this video here, my stand predictions. Let me hear your thoughts once again, folks. Would appreciate it. But before I head out, make sure you leave a like here on this channel and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. Would appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe, please do so. And subscribe to my other channel, which is my main channel where I cover football, mostly what I'll be talking about. And I cover football and the Packers a lot. So make sure to check that out. And so make sure to check that out, folks. We appreciate it. But that's a wrap here in the studio. We will be back here with more baseball content very soon, folks. We'll be back with more baseball content. But until then, it's baseball season, folks. Let's win the whole thing.